Now, I'd like to pass it on to Joanne King from the Academic Skills. Thanks very much, Joanne.
Hi. Thanks for thanks for inviting me along today. So I can see that we've got a couple of attendees there. So for the people who are attending, just feel free to type your questions in the chat as we go. I'm sure all the people who are hosting the panel have explained all this to you already, but I just wanted to reiterate if you've got questions for me. So I'm just going to share with you some information about academic skills. Have I started sharing my screen? Sorry. Somebody's sharing the screen from GSA?
Yep, there's screen sharing. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, thanks. So I'm in the academic skills team at the University of Melbourne. And the first question that sort of springs to mind when you hear that might be, what are academic skills? So the sorts of things we provide advice about include everything to do with your communication and study skills while you're at the university. So study skills can include reading, listening and note-taking and active learning strategies. We're talking about things like time management, referencing and the appropriate use of sources in your work, as well as all the steps in the writing process. So planning your writing, drafting, looking at structure, clarity and accuracy of your expression, editing skills, and the different types of requirements you have to produce your written work in. So the genre of requirements of the work you have to write. And we also help students develop their presentation skills. So that also kind of includes all steps of the process of giving a presentation. So planning your expression and delivery in terms of your voice and the language you use in a presentation assessment. And finally, we also provide support to develop English language skills. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what kind of things we provide a bit further on. So we basically provide opportunities for students to develop their skills in any of those areas. And we do that in a number of ways. So we've got a whole range of online resources, and that includes web-based pages and videos, all on our website. And we also have online learning modules in the Academic Skills Hub on Canvas, and you can self-enroll in that on our website as well, and you can work through those modules in your own time. We do run group workshops throughout semester, and I can tell you where you can find those as they come up. And once again, they kind of cover all aspects of that range of skills that we advise on. So everything from writing to giving presentations to developing English language skills. And we also provide one-on-one advice, and we do this in two different ways. We've got an email service and we've got individual appointments via Zoom. And I'll let you know a little bit more about those right at the end. So if you go to our website, this is the first page you'll see, and midway down there's a link to explore all of our online resources. And that takes you to the page of topics, which I've spoken about, that kind of cover all the things that we help students with. So just looking at an example, going into developing an academic writing style, you'll see links to the online learning modules that are in the Academic Skills Hub on the LMS. So wherever you find those on our website, there's a link to be able to enroll in the Academic Skills Hub. And you also see these things we call quick reads and sometimes videos that are basically a web page of information. And these have been designed together with a lot of feedback from students all across the university. So grad students, undergrads as well, and students from all different faculties. And this web-based content is really designed around giving you quick tips for things. So for example, this is our web-based resource on analysing the task. So the first thing that we recommend as you approach your assessments at university is that you make sure that you really understand what you're being asked to do, to make sure you don't spend time preparing something that might be off topic or a little bit irrelevant or in the wrong format. So just an extract just to demonstrate the sorts of information that you might find on our website. This resource instructs you to analyse your tasks based on the directions you're given, looking at direction words that are usually verbs, content words that relate to the ideas in your subject or the concepts that you're working with, and limiting words that maybe restrict the information that you're looking at down to a particular context or a particular time. So this is the kind of advice that you'll see on a page like this. Then we've got some examples here on that page as well of direction words. So undoubtedly in your studies at the University of Melbourne, you'll be asked to incorporate critique. So if you're asked to critique or criticise something or provide a critical evaluation or analysis, this is just a bit of a definition of what that means and what you're expected to do. So you might be familiar with that already, but critique doesn't necessarily just mean looking for mistakes and weaknesses. It means to analyse something systematically. So looking for all of the strengths as well as the possible weaknesses or limitations. The other thing that people are often concerned about, or that they often have questions about as they're starting their graduate courses, might be to do with referencing. People generally know that they have to do it and they might not be familiar, or they might need a reminder of how that kind of thing works. And we've got a lot of information about what you need to reference and why you reference in your university studies. Basically, the work you produce for all of your assessments at university, your examiners or your lecturers are going to be looking to see if you are familiar with and you have an understanding of the people who are publishing research in your field. And they also want you to acknowledge where your ideas come from. And the purpose behind referencing as well is so that other people can easily find what you've used in the preparation of your own work. The thing that usually makes people a bit concerned about this is that people know that if you don't reference or cite your sources accurately, that can result in plagiarism. So you need to be quite careful that you're keeping track of what you're using in your work and that you're including the citations where you need them. Often people ask what you have to reference. So the answer is basically any material that you've taken from a published source or even from an informal source at times. So that might include scholarly sources like journal articles, academic and professional books, government publications, or information from websites or newspapers or magazines. Scholarly sources are usually preferred, so things that you'll get through the library. And you've got to give a reference wherever that material is used. So that might include direct quotes where you're using the exact words, paraphrases where you're writing an idea in your own words, but that you've drawn from another author, or summaries where you might be synthesizing more than one author's ideas with another. And you need to cite things whether they're in tables, figures, graphs, or images. So all of that information is information that you can find easily on our website. Try and get familiar with it now so you know exactly what you're doing as you're approaching your written work. Back on the homepage of our website, you'll find the link to our workshops on the left-hand side at the bottom. And that takes you to all of the student services workshops and sessions that will be held throughout semester, and you can find us by looking at the ones under the checkbox for academic skills. There are a couple coming up sort of the first couple of weeks of semester, but we do release more as the semester progresses. So the whole semester's workshops are not on there yet, but there will be some definitely appropriate for graduate students coming up. Lastly, I mentioned that I would let you know a bit more about our one-on-one advice. So there's two ways that we deliver that, as I said. There's a service that we run by email. When it was in person, it was a drop-in, so people could just go to the library the day that the service was operating and speak to someone, but now it is being done by email by the same people. And you can email the peer writing mentors who do the writing and library research questions on the drop-ins email. You can email them a piece of your writing or your research questions. They will spend 15 minutes reading a short amount of your work and writing some feedback for you, and they'll email it back to you on the same day. So that service operates between week 3 and SWAT-VAC, which is the week after week 12. And that operates Monday to Friday from noon till 6. We also have our individual appointments, which is sort of further down on the same page of our website. And I've just got a summary for you on the next. So that's a summary of our drop-ins, which is an email service. The individual appointments are Zoom appointments. They run all year, so outside semester weeks as well, Monday to Friday kind of working hours. And in those individual appointments, we can advise on any of the skills areas that we provide support for. So not just writing, but also speaking and presenting, time management, and those kinds of queries. Those individual appointments are 25 minutes long, and each student can book up to 4 of those per semester, but not more than 1 per week. And all the information about those is on our website as well. Finally, so I covered a few of the online resources that we've got, just with that example of how you go about analysing a task when you set your first assignments. We've got workshops. Check back on the Student Services workshops list during semester as those come up. We do have the individual consultations and the email drop-in service. And we've got, for all of those things really, we have opportunities for people to develop their English language skills. And on that point, I just want to highlight the fact that the Diagnostic English Language Assessment, that's what DELA stands for, it's a series of 3 online modules that are designed to assess your English language skills. We recommend that all students who have English as an additional language do the module. Any student can do it. Any student can log on and do it. But it's very strongly recommended for any students who have English as an additional language. If you do the DELA modules and complete those by the 7th of August, so I know that's the day after tomorrow, so you'll have to act pretty quickly on that if you want to do it. You'll receive a communication skills development plan that identifies opportunities around the university that will help you develop the English language skills that you need to develop. So that is hopefully lucky that if you still want to do the DELA, it's still available and you can still do it in time to get that communication skills development plan for you to improve your English language skills this semester.